Trust your instincts. This is the Tennis Warehouse racket review of the Head Instinct MP 2025. For this 2025 update, Head adds new technology while maintaining an excellent overall value in this modern racket. Auxetic material was strategically placed in the yoke for a crisp and connected feel. The Instinct MP still has graphene material within for more power and stability. It features an open string pattern, tapered beam, and a lower stiffness RA, which makes it a great all-around racket. It has been a couple generations since I play tested an Instinct MP, and one of the first Instincts I actually play tested was when Maria Sharapova switched over, so it's been a couple years, but I was always really a big fan of that racket series, so I was excited to see what this update had in store. And like I expected, it came back really quickly. From the baseline, I found really easy power, depth, and spin potential. I actually used it in both singles and doubles and had success in both, so I thought it was a very versatile racket in that sense. Now, when I approached the net and was hitting volleys, I found myself hitting a lot of punch volleys, kind of power, hitting them deep, kind of putting them away. I didn't get as much touch as I would like. But one thing that surprised me was actually when it came to serves. I was getting a lot of compliments on my serve, both my first and my second serve. First serve, getting a lot of free points, a lot of easy power. Second serve, because it was so easy to get up and over my head, I had a lot of confidence going after my second serve and adding that spin. When it came to returns, I actually found that I was a little bit ahead of the ball, that I was hitting the ball early because the racket swung so quickly, so I had a small adjustment period there. On the opposite side of that, I was also wanting a little bit more stability at times, up in net, at the baseline, and at that return, as I was feeling the racket twist slightly in my hand. One thing that surprised me overall was that the racket played a little bit firmer than the stiffness RA indicated. It wasn't a bad thing, I just was expecting it to be a little bit softer. Overall, I think this is a great tweener frame that is really easy to use and at a great value.
I found this racket to be really easy to use. It has a fairly low swing weight, so I was able to easily generate racket head speed with it, and because of that open string pattern, I was able to get a lot of spin on my shots as well. From the baseline, I also really liked that I was finding some nice sharp angles with it, able to pull my opponents off court and win points that way. I also found that I was getting good depth on my shots with it because of that open string pattern and higher launch angle. Up at net, again, very easy to use. I did find that the racket did get pushed around slightly against bigger hitters, but I really did like the feel and touch I was able to get with it. On serves, I wasn't able to hit the biggest serve with it, but I was able to hit a consistent ball and get plenty of spin on my shots to make it effective. Really, the biggest downside for me was the string bed. It felt like it was a little bit erratic at times when I hit shots. In the sweet spot, it felt good, but a little launchy, and then shots slightly outside of it, especially kind of toward the tip, I did notice a drop in performance. All in all, I think this is a great valued racket, good for intermediate level players that are looking to add spin and power to their game without breaking the bank.
It had been a while since I'd played with an Instinct racket, but as soon as I started rallying from the baseline, I found it to be very user-friendly, and it kind of felt like that good all-around performance. And then when I looked at the price on our website, I was very impressed. For Head keeping this under $200, I thought that the racket was really a great all-arounder. From the baseline, I was getting plenty of power, easy access to spin. It was swinging quickly, so you could whip up those cross-court angles when I needed to, when I was playing some dingles. I was also getting some good power and pace with a nice fluid stroke. At net, I liked how quickly this one got into position, and I thought that the control was pretty good. I was getting it to go where I wanted. Outside of the sweet spot, especially at net, I did find the racket to be a little bit unstable compared to some other 300-gram rackets, but with a good firm hand, I could still get the ball going off to where I wanted. On serve, I really liked the power level. I did find that it was giving me some good added pace and pop on my serve, so I really appreciated it there. Overall, I didn't find that this racket had any one standout area. It was just a nice all-around frame at a great price.
For its price point, I was honestly blown away by this Instinct MP. I don't feel like a ton of sub $200 frames really have the level of feel that this racket is inherently working with. And I do think a large part of that is the Auxetic technology from Head. This is the Generation 1 Auxetic as opposed to the Auxetic 2. So the proprietary tech is primarily going to be in the hoop of the frame as opposed to more so in the handle on some of the other new Head rackets. And I do feel like you can really sort of feel that weight through the ball with this racket. It has very good ball pocketing, especially if you hit it in the sweet spot. that was probably my favorite area of this frame. When I made good contact, it just felt incredibly satisfying. Sometimes those flexier, power-based frames don't typically have great feel associated with them, especially for me. And I just really enjoyed how this racket played in terms of ground stroke capability. Up at the net, the power access was really helpful for punching balls deep and putting away points pretty quickly. And then on serve, I did notice that the string bed was a little bit erratic, a little launchy. I wasn't able to quite go after my spots maybe as much as I would have liked to. But thankfully, the power access here is pretty helpful. And the head-heavy relative balance is pretty good for getting good racket head speed through the ball on serve. So I enjoyed how it handled in that aspect as well. And then on returns, again, just not maybe as much precision as I would have liked, but I still felt like I could power through my shots effectively, which was a lot of fun to play with. Overall, I feel like some of the negatives of this racket are gonna be the control lacking for some players, but the positives are great, plentiful spin, great feel, and just a really satisfying frame when you hit that sweet spot. That's all for this playtest today. We did string up the racket with head links toward in a champagne color at 53 pounds of tension. For more information on anything else tennis related, check us out at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, and Tennis Only.